baby, today Melania woke up and she said, I have had a goddamn enough. I have had a goddamn enough.
Linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards. I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation.
What a reputation it is. What a reputation it is, baby. It's pristine, girl. It's pristine. Baron, is this your mama? Is this your mama, Baron?
I never been friends with Epstein.
2 + 2 is 4, right? And 5 + 5 is 10. Okay. What the fuck is this?
Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time. Since overlap, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. I am not Epstein's victim.
Of course you weren't a victim. Of course you weren't a victim. Some say your husband, and many are alleging that you too, that you not me. I ain't saying, girl, I'm not lying on you, honey, but the people are saying, allegedly saying that maybe you were an accomplice, that you weren't a victim, but you were an accomplice. But people were victims, and those victims deserve justice. That's what this is all about. Those victims deserve justice. Thankfully, Melania, thankfully, you may help them get that, because it's really odd timing that you're coming out saying this now. Very odd timing. You are helping put this back at the forefront of the news exactly where it belongs, because again, the victims deserve justice.
Breaking Jeffrey Epstein news. Melania Trump just did a speech from the White House distancing herself from Epstein and suggesting, I'm thinking, that there's a big story coming out and it's not a good story, and that's why she's getting ahead of it. She said she's never been a victim of Epstein, which makes me think somebody's alleging she's been a victim. There's a lot of lies about her. Again, there's a lie she's worried about. She said that she was never close with Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who found him the girls. She's in prison for 20 years. She said, I just had a casual correspondence by email with her. Donald and she did not know. She was not introduced to Donald by Epstein. Again, makes you think that's the allegation coming out. And she called for congressional hearings for Epstein's victims, which is a good thing. I think, because this makes no sense that the First Lady of the United States is doing this, the fact that she's doing it is making it a story. It's making me think, oh, is there a tie? Right, I didn't know there was. An allegation of one, which makes me think there's a story coming out. There's some story coming out. They're trying to get ahead of it. But wow, First Lady from the White House, the seal and the whole thing. Keep your eyes open. Follow me and share.
Do you understand what she just said? She just came out on the offensive and actually said, I want to do this, bring it all out for the victims. She knows something we don't know. I think he's near the end. She knows that he's declining in his health, or the 25th Amendment. JD's not going to turn on him, but maybe. JD's thirsty for power. Everyone wants the Epstein thing to be done so then they can move on, and she really thinks they met by chance. Nothing happens by chance in those social circles, especially not at that time in New York. That was a great time. She is right. She didn't meet Jeffrey until later, but that was orchestrated. Well, she's good. God. If she gets out of this scot-free, which she will, I should have my team contact her team, because I've never said a word about her. This could be good for us. Guards, could I have my one call?
Breaking news today. As make a run in the unexpected, the public statement addressing the resurfacing Epstein file controversy. In a firm and direct response, she denied any connection to Jeffrey Epstein and dismissed all allegations as completely false, but the timing of this press conference is raising serious questions. Number one, why now? What is really inside these documents? And why, in this case, once again, capturing a global attention? In this video, we are going to break down exactly what was said, what means, and what could happen next. I think you understand that. So before we continue, I want to give credit to all original creator of TikTok clips used in this video. All clips belong to their respective creator and are used here for complimentary news report and education purpose.
We have some major news out of the White House where Melania Trump has just delivered a statement where she is denying the knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Obviously, everyone has linked her to Jeffrey Epstein. Not everyone, but people who are looking at the evidence have shown that she did have very close ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So I guess she wanted to come out and set the record straight that she did not know about the crimes. Obviously, that may be a lie, and all the facts that we have indicate that it is very unlikely that she didn't have closer ties than she's letting on. So she said, quote, "The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation."
Melania Trump just had a full press conference about, out of the blue, how she doesn't know Jeffrey Epstein, how she did not have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, how she did not have a relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, how she didn't know them, even though there are videos, there are photos, there are email exchanges from Dear G and Sweet Pea, right? And this makes absolutely no sense. Donald Trump has done everything he can to run from the Epstein files. He captured Maduro in Venezuela, starts a war there, starts a war in Iran. They've shut down the Justice Department from releasing these files, even though they've had everything. And now full denial that she knows them, she had anything to do with them, that he didn't introduce Donald and her to each other. Makes absolutely no sense. So either a major story's about to break about them or her, something's about to break on Donald, or she's just had it with everything, or she's breaking away from Donald. I don't know what's going on, but it makes no sense. Unless things are getting so bad with the war in Iran, they're now using Epstein as a distraction from the war in Iran. I mean, I'm not sure. As we find out more, I'll let you know what I find out. But right now, this makes no sense, and it was completely out of the blue. Other than Pam Bondi's supposed to testify next week, April 14th, that she's trying to get out of doing that one. So, I don't know. What do you think? What's going on here? And by the way, did you see my video on the ship Spill the Tea that passed through the Strait of Hormuz? You'll love that one. It's a parody, by the way. Half the people aren't catching on that it's a parody, but it's there. Let me know what you think.
That's our First Lady when Trump was still friendly with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2004. Then in her wedding gown in January 2005. In June, Melania got pregnant with Barron. Melania's pregnancy occurred right around the time when this picture with Pamela Anderson was taken, whom Trump paid $500 to come to this birthday party. 3 months later, while Melania is still pregnant, Trump claims you can grab women by the, well, you know what. Since then, Trump can be seen grabbing this Miss Universe, and this Miss Universe, and this Miss Universe, and his daughter again, and his co-worker Kristi Noem, and the Attorney General Pam Bondi. Now, Bondi has claimed there's nothing in the Epstein files to investigate further, but somehow I think Pam Bondi knows better. What do you think?
Melania Trump may be in big trouble in a case involving the Epstein files, and it's all because she brought it on herself. She's screwing over herself. She's screwing over Donald. You will recall that she has continued to threaten journalists and reporters who dare report that there may be connections between her and Jeffrey Epstein. She says to even insinuate that there are connections, it's defamation. Oh, well, she's been threatening this journalist and that journalist. And it's like, Melania, there are lots of photos of you, Donald, Jeffrey, Ghislaine. There's at least a few of them that are out there. Let's just say that. So maybe you want to just come clean about it. So she threatened the wrong person, as you know, Michael Wolff, who you've seen many times here be interviewed on the Midas Touch Network. He was Trump's former biographer. And he knows Melania. He knows Donald. And there's nothing.
There are 70 documents on the Epstein files that mention the producer of Melania. They go way back. Brett Ratner, pictured with underage girls, and you know who, in an email to Jeffrey Epstein. Brett says hi and he loves you. This is talking about Brett Ratner. Can I tell you that literally so many people are involved in this? Mostly billionaires and extremely wealthy people, because Jeffrey Epstein had a $1 billion limit on the clients that he handled. This gets really freaking scary because the people with that much money have so much control over the world. We already knew that Bill Clinton was involved, but so is Chris Tucker and Kevin Spacey. No surprise there. We already knew Prince Andrew was involved too. He's mentioned quite a few times. He attended a party with young Russian models that Ghislaine Maxwell threw. But look at this one. Epstein's clients include the Queen of England. I always knew that something was super freaking sketchy about Queen Elizabeth. And it says some of the businessmen who dine with Epstein at his home include all of these people: Revlon chairman, former Microsoft executive, Donald Trump. We all knew this one too. I gotta say I told you so on this one. Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z. Pause to read this whole highlighted part. It's pretty disturbing. He has also met multiple times with someone named Eunuch Ernest, a man who has produced the Oscars, the Super Bowl, the World Cup, and the UN General Assembly. 100 documents, including Casey Wasserman. I don't know if that's how you say his name. He's an American entertainment executive and the chairman of the 2028 LA Olympics Organizing Committee. One of the messages between him and Ghislaine Maxwell said, "I will be in New York City for 4 days starting April 22. Can we book that massage now?" This one honestly just kind of spooks me because I know that these elite, corrupt people speak in code. Okay, you will not have to share with me either a cheddar cheese, a baked bean, or a Kit Kat. That's between him and Ghislaine Maxwell. What? This also says that Ghislaine Maxwell is heavily involved in some kind of internet company. I would really like to know what that is. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, used to own our textbooks in school. I'm talking all kinds of textbooks. Medical textbooks, science textbooks. He owned McGraw-Hill. So we're talking senators, movie producers, Microsoft executives, huge internet companies, Hollywood stars, the president, the former president, multiple former presidents. It really makes you wonder, like, can we trust anybody in power? Us conspiracy theorists knew this was coming. We've been trying to tell y'all. The truth is finally coming to light, and honestly, it feels so good.
Listen, I've never been so undecided about a question in my fucking life. But this says basically lovers or she was a victim, talking about Epstein and Melania, because we know for years that Hunter Biden had came out and said that Epstein introduced Trump to Melania, or Melania to Trump, right? Now there's new information coming out that former Prince Andrew's biographer had came out and had been privy to a recording or some kind of information that stated that Epstein and Melania were lovers first and then introduced her to Trump. But then they're saying that no, Melania was introduced by this modeling age. She was modeling for Froelich and he introduced Melania to Trump. Listen, is Melania Trump a victim in all of this? Yes. Is she still a victim? No. I mean, if it's true, which I'm sure it is true, that Epstein and Melania were dating, right? Or she was one of Epstein's victims. Then he gave her to Trump. If that's really all true, she's a victim, she was a victim, and is a victim. But if not, she's not. If it's true about the modeling agency, which I don't think so. But once I'm sorry, but even if you're a victim, once children are involved and you know about it, you're no longer a victim in my eyes. You're complicit. You're complacent in your role as first lady for the second time, or the luxury of being the wife of this millionaire slash billionaire, whatever the fuck he is this week. But what do y'all think? Is Melania Trump a victim right now?
Apparently, Epstein introduced Donald Trump and Melania. That's right, the romantic love story that these two can share with their son Barron is basically an episode of To Catch a Predator. Epstein went to Melania's modeling agency looking for new girls, and that's how he met Melania. And then he brought her to parties, and that's when she met Donald Trump. I really hope they didn't leave that detail out of her new documentary.
Is this Melania Trump's ring in the Epstein files? So this is all alleged, but people online have made some pretty shocking connections here. I want you to really, for a moment, examine this ring. Just take a look at the diamond and the cut, the shape, and take a look at that. People online have noted that it is almost identical to the ring seen in the Epstein files. I mean, it is identical. And in almost every single photograph and angle published of this ring, it appears, honestly, to be the exact ring that was located in the Epstein files. Now, if this is the ring that Trump gave Melania, it should be stated there's an interesting story behind. Apparently, Trump claimed in the media at one point, I believe in 2018, that he had gotten a $1 million discount on the ring. He stated he got this discount in exchange for publicity, but later on, the guy who sold Trump the ring to give to Melania later stated Trump paid full price. He never gave him a discount. He made up this $1 million discount to make himself look like some sort of big deal maker. It also should be noted that the guy who eventually owned the company that seemed to have made that ring also appears in the Epstein files. And Trump even stated at one point that he considers the guy who made the ring to be a very good friend. But regardless, this is all still conjecture. However, we do know that Epstein and Melania and Ghislaine and Trump were all friends. And for years, it has been rumored that Trump and Melania were actually introduced by Epstein and Ghislaine. I'm going to do a deeper dive on that this weekend as we are moving into the release of this film about Melania that is coming out, that's being directed by a notorious sex pest and a guy who's also in the Epstein files. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? I did a really deep dive and I couldn't find any definitive answers, but a lot of people online seem to believe that that is the same ring seen in the files. Regardless of the box it's in, I guess, people are convinced. And regardless, every single thing in the Epstein files needs to be analyzed to the fullest extent. And if this indeed is the First Lady of the United States' engagement ring or wedding ring, whatever the hell, I don't even know what I'm saying, that would be absolutely major news, wouldn't it?
The day after the Epstein files were supposed to be released, what do we have here?
Huge embarrassment for Melania Trump. You know how that documentary about her is coming out?
Right.
Well, it turns out the director, Brett Ratner, just showed up in the DOJ's newly released Jeffrey Epstein files. Ratner is pictured with a shirtless Jean-Luc Brunel, Epstein's close associate, later charged with sex trafficking, and someone who offed themselves just a couple years after Jeffrey Epstein while awaiting trial. This is the guy that the Trumps chose to tell Melania's story. You are the company you keep. This is who they are.
And then we have this from the House Oversight Committee. This photo, file 468 from the Epstein files that includes Donald Trump, has apparently now been removed from the DOJ release. And the Midas Touch published this nasty piece about Donald Trump and what he did. Now, this is the redacted version, and this is the version that shows Trump's name and what he allegedly did. With all these games Donald Trump is playing with the American people, it's time for him to be impeached, ladies and gentlemen. He's not moving like an innocent person. He's moving like someone that's guilty. You know it, I know it, the world knows it.
Last year, Melania Trump threatened author Michael Wolff with a lawsuit if he wrote about the nature of how she and Donald Trump met. And Wolff responded by suing her. And she's running from it. Trump's running from it. They're trying to fight it. And now the Epstein files have revealed what Wolff was basically going to come out with and say. Check this out. Well, here's the document. Here it is, where it says Epstein introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. Here it is just a little closer so you can see it. This is very good news for Michael Wolff, very bad news for Melania Trump and Donald Trump, because it proves they're liars and that they make baseless threats through lawsuits. Lawsuits they never fully intend to execute on. And now, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify to the House Oversight Committee about their relationship with Epstein. Boy, how the tables are turning. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
According to Midas Touch reporting, Melania Trump has rushed to federal court over claims connected to, guess what? The Epstein files. The report says Melania filed emergency legal actions seeking to block or limit the spread of allegations involving her name that has surfaced alongside renewed scrutiny of Epstein-related documents. What's important here is not the speculation, it's her response. High-profile figures do not march this quickly unless they believe something poses a serious legal or reputational risk. The filing, as reported, isn't about proving innocence or guilt. It's about controlling the narrative and stopping claims before they proceed any further. By the First Lady, mind you. And the timing matters bigly, because it comes as pressure mounts to release more Epstein-related records, and as the public's attention shifts back to who is fighting transparency and who isn't. Courts don't decide truth in headlines. They decide whether claims can be challenged, delayed, or suppressed. And when someone like the First Lady rushes to court, it tells you one thing for sure. She is scared. And she is worried about what comes next. Share your thoughts in the comment section and follow me for more.
Melania's lawyers sent me a letter saying they're going to sue me for $1 billion. My response to that was, please do. In court, I would have the right to, number one, depose the person that's suing me, and that would be the individual Melania Trump. And I would have the right to subpoena and depose and seek discovery from every single person in their circle that would or potentially have knowledge about the genesis of the relationship between Donald Trump and Melania and their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so he became righteously indignant. He basically called her bluff. Now, what's interesting, that lawsuit, it never materialized. This was, when is this? November this all happened. When is this? August. Not one lawsuit filed.
This is a developing story. As the more information continue to emerge, we will keep you updated within the verified fact, not speculation. What do you think about the Melania Trump statement? Was this a necessary clarification, or does it raise even more questions? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification for more updates. You never miss any important global updates right here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you next in another episode.